Hello students. Now we continue our case of the disappearing T with the next disappearing T word. Would and wouldn't and wouldn't. So let's get started. When we look at would, what is would? Look at this example. I would buy it if I had money. If I had money. So would is what happens if something else happens. Let me give you and explain more. So if I worked from home, I would spend more time with my family. If one thing happens, another thing would happen. So if I worked from home. Now, if I worked from home, it's not real. I am thinking if it was real, what would happen? What is the connection? What is the consequence? If I worked from home, I would spend more time with my family. A lot of people spend a lot of time in their cars, driving buses, going to work, coming home, and don't spend much time. But if we worked from home, we would spend more time with our families. So after the if, it's in the past tense, but it's not real. If I worked, but it's not real. Okay, that's the idea. If I had more money, I would buy a new phone. So if I had more money, so it's not real. I don't have more money. I have money, but not enough for a new phone. But what would happen if it was real is if I had more money, I would buy a new phone. So you are talking now using a past tense verb. If I had more money, but it's not real. So this is the idea about would and why we use would. Would is exactly the same as could and should, right? I would go. Not I would to go or I would going. I would go. So you would study French, the negative. You wouldn't, you would not study French. Or would you study French? Okay, so it's just the same as the modal verbs, the verbs like to be. Again, repeating myself, the L is silent. It's easy to make the mistake to say would, because maybe you see the L and you want to pronounce the L. It's silent. It's would. Would. Okay? So, can you see what will happen next? What's gonna happen next? I wouldn't do it. The T disappears. And I wouldn't. Wouldn't. So it's that N sound. I wouldn't do it. Okay? Do not say that wouldn't all the time. I wouldn't do it. All right? So let's train together. Now remember, it's the wouldn't sound we want to train in the negative. So pause, listen, repeat. Let's go. I would not do that if I were you. I wouldn't do that if I were you. And I wouldn't do that if I. So if I wouldn't do that if I were you. If I were you. They would not understand our problems. They wouldn't understand our problems. They wouldn't understand our problems. I would not ask if I already knew. I wouldn't ask if I already knew. I wouldn't ask if I wouldn't ask if I already knew. I wouldn't ask if I already knew. I would not work so much if I did not really need to. I wouldn't work so much if I didn't really need to. I wouldn't work so much if I didn't really need to. I wouldn't work so much if I didn't really need to. She would not be so stressed if she was not preparing for the exams. She wouldn't be so stressed if she wasn't preparing for the exams. She wouldn't be so stressed if she wasn't preparing for the exams. So the for to f, she wouldn't be so stressed if she wasn't preparing for the exams. So that brings us to the end of our video about would and wouldn't and wouldn't. Join me in the next video to talk about will not to won't and won't. See you there.